When pumpkin meets chocolate, it makes a super moist cake, you'll see. No butter, that's what's special about this cake. The idea behind this cake is simple. To get an ultra-rich result, a really moist texture with a nice chocolate glaze on top and very little fat. Only what's in the chocolate, since we'll be using pumpkin. That's the first step of the recipe. We'll cut the pumpkin in half and cook it, either in the oven, which I recommend, or boiled in water, which is also possible. But in the oven, you're going to concentrate the flavors. I really like that. It really brings out, it enhances that slight nutty taste of the pumpkin. Few ingredients in this recipe. We'll have a little bit of sugar, but very little, 60 grams, dark chocolate, a bit of baking powder, flour, almond or hazelnut flour, and 3 eggs with 1 pumpkin. I'll add a tiny bit of grapeseed oil to the chocolate for the glaze, but I'll explain all that in just a moment. You know, how to make a nice, shiny glaze for all your cakes. That'll be in the video. Okay, I've rinsed my pumpkin. I'm going to carefully cut it in half. There we go now. So now we're going to scoop out the insides with a large spoon. Pumpkin is actually really super simple to prepare. Plus, you can eat the skin. It'll cook for about 45 minutes. I'm gonna put the pumpkin in the oven. Here's a tip. I put water inside and in the bottom of the dish. It helps with cooking, creating steam in the oven. And it's off for about 45 minutes. But just before that, are you one of the 1.5 million subscribers to my channel, or haven't you taken the time to do it yet? Don't hesitate, it's just one click. You join us, we welcome you with open arms, and you get a new recipe every week. There, now the pumpkin is cooked. And right away, we'll blend the pumpkin. I'm cutting my pumpkin. So I'm going to need 200 grams of pumpkin puree for this recipe. All right, let's go. We're going to blend it. There we go. So no more chunks. A nice, smooth puree. It's perfect. I love pumpkin just like this. It's amazing. A little drizzle of olive oil, some fleur de sel on there, and you have a great little puree. Okay, the chocolate, we're going to melt this chocolate. So if you're using a bar, you break up the squares of chocolate. For this cake, I recommend starting with a baking chocolate that's at least 60%. And it will cover the flavor well, you won't taste it at all. In all the cakes I make with vegetables and chocolate, by using a chocolate that's strong enough, so there you go, well, you'll never taste the vegetable. So for this, it's either a double boiler or the microwave. I'm going to use the microwave. I'll do 1:30 to about 2 minutes, you know, with a little pause in the middle. Hold me back, I'm going to stick my hand in there. There we can smooth out this chocolate gently to melt the last little pieces. So the trick for your chocolate glazes is to add a tiny bit of vegetable oil that won't solidify. So if you use coconut oil, knowing that coconut oil hardens when it's cold, that's not going to work. However, grapeseed oil, sunflower oil, there you go. Those are 2 oils that stay liquid, so they're perfect for keeping a soft glaze. So whether you're using chocolate just to make a beautiful shiny glaze, or if you're adding little chopped hazelnuts or almonds to create a rocky road effect, well, there you go. Add a tiny dash of vegetable oil. This is grapeseed oil. Great! It will keep your chocolate glaze nice and soft and shiny. We'll continue preparing the batter. So I'm going to crack 3 eggs. We add the sugar, 60 grams of sugar for this recipe. And I'm going to add a pinch of fleur de sel. Fleur de sel with chocolate works really well, you probably already know that. So here we're just dissolving the sugar in the eggs. We're going to add our 200 grams of pumpkin puree. That's what's really interesting when you use vegetable puree in cakes, instead of all or part of the butter, is that you're also adding natural sugar. So if you go with sweet potato or carrot, well, you already have some of the sugar naturally present, so you can reduce it a little more. Well, here, pumpkin is the least sweet of the 3 I mentioned, so 60 grams of sugar. If that's not sweet enough, you can go up to 80, but there's no need to use more than 80 grams of sugar in this cake. And I'm going to add 150 grams of melted chocolate. I'll keep 50 grams for the glaze. Of course, we wait for the chocolate to be lukewarm. And we mix. All that's left is to add the dry ingredients, flour, almond flour, and baking powder. So I'm going to sift the baking powder, the flour. Likewise, you can make a gluten-free version with quinoa flour, for example. That works very well. In winter, chestnut flour. That works so well. Chestnut with the slight nutty taste of the pumpkin. And it's gluten-free, it's really great, so do not hesitate. And then the almond flour. So I can't sift this, obviously it won't go through. If you have hazelnut flour at home, that works very well too. We often say that pumpkin has a slight nutty taste, so why not enhance it with hazelnut flour? There you go. We mix until we no longer see any dry ingredients, simply with a spatula like this. Great. We can pour it into the cake pan, there, and then it's off for 25 minutes of baking at 180 degrees. So I often get asked, what's the diameter of your pan? This one is 20 centimeters. In general for cakes, I go for between 16 and 20 centimeters max to get taller cakes. If you go for larger diameters like 24, 26 centimeters, you'll get cakes that are more like tarts, you know. So there you go. That's also one of the useful tricks when you do food photography and all that. We always use dishes with smaller diameters to get more interesting and appealing volumes. Okay, let's take the cake out now and let it cool down quietly for a bit before putting the glaze on it. The cake has cooled, we can unmold it and make the glaze. It's the last step. We have a moist cake with no fat. Okay, let's get to the glaze. The gourmet touch, what really makes the difference with a simple cake like this? Okay, I'm pouring it in the center, and then if there are little drips on the side, that's very, very nice, no problem. And you can add chopped hazelnuts or almonds to create a little rocky road effect, you know, on your glaze. They're absolutely magnificent. You have a super rich, moist chocolate cake with no butter. Normally, you let it sit in the fridge for an hour or two before eating it, you know, so the glaze also gets a nice texture. You can tell right away that the cake is going to be really moist and not dry. That's great. So another little tip for you. With chocolate, fleur de sel is great. So I'm adding a tiny bit of fleur de sel, but really there, just a pinch on my cake. And it just brings out the chocolate flavor even more. Is just amazing. Let me know if you try this, what you think, or if you already do this too. Right away, it's so pleasant to eat, so moist. Oh yeah, it feels like eating a chocolate cake with 150 grams of butter, when actually it's pumpkin puree you can't taste at all. It just affects the texture. I'm just gonna take a slice here, you know. There's no butter. Thanks everyone for watching this video. All that's left is to wish you a bon appetit and say see you next week. Ciao!